Hey, this is Omar, the founder of TutorLyft. Today's video, we're going to go over some tips and tricks to make your LinkedIn profile really stand out. Whether you're an active student or you recently graduated, I think that this video can help. Let's get started. The first thing that I want to cover are some elements of a good profile picture. While it might seem obvious, you want a picture that's close enough so that recruiters and anybody viewing your profile can get an accurate depiction of who you are. Ideally, the picture is of you smiling and the background is neutral. You want to avoid pictures of you wearing sunglasses or of you with a group of friends. And most importantly, you want to avoid pictures of you drinking alcohol. I know that might seem really obvious, but if you look hard enough on LinkedIn, you'll actually be able to find a few profile pictures of people drinking booze. If you think of this from a recruiter's perspective, this is a huge red flag. At the end of the day, this is more than just a social network, it's a professional network where you're going to be connected with people who can hopefully help in growing your career. Right above your profile picture is also your background image, which is fully customizable. You want to try to pick something relatively neutral. I know a lot of people put pictures of the skyline of the city that they're currently located in, or some other things that capture and draw people's attention. Underneath your profile picture is going to be your headline. And your headline is something that's fully customizable and helps draw people into your profile. By default, your headline is going to be your job description, but you have full ability to customize this. I look at your headline as somewhat of an elevator pitch. Obviously, it's not going to be as long as being stuck in an elevator with somebody, but think of if you're introducing yourself to a VP or from somebody from HR. You're not just going to say, "Hi, my name is Omar and I'm a student," right? You want something that's a little bit more attention grabbing that encourages somebody to want to learn more about you. So, for example, what you could say is, "I'm a computer science major and aspiring full stack developer." This shows what you're currently doing as well as your future aspirations. And this is something that you can continue to iterate on as well. It's not like you set one headline and that's it forever. As you continue to grow in your career, your headline is something that can continue to change. Another small tip that I would have is try to get over 500 connections as quick as you can. At the end of the day, this is something that people do judge you for just a little bit, but getting to that 500 connection mark and above is going to actually unlock some more features for you. If you're under 500 connections, LinkedIn actually limits the amount of profiles that you can view. So getting above that 500 connection mark is really going to unlock the amount of profiles that you can look at as well as search. Getting above 500 connections also makes it easier for other people to find you. The more exposure you have, the better position that you're putting yourself in. Especially as you're just starting out in your career, you want to try to get as much visibility and traction to your profile as you can. It's a relatively low effort to actually get above 500 connections, and you have to remember that this is a professional network, so you can add anybody in your life that you've had a professional or personal interaction with, in addition to adding recruiters or people at companies that you're potentially interested in. The next section that I want to focus on is the summary section. There's a lot of debate on what makes the best summary and how long it should be, but for me, I've always tried to keep this between 300 to 500 words. You don't want to have a full recount of your resume, as there's other section on your LinkedIn profile that you can fill this in, but you want to make it intriguing enough that makes somebody want to continue reading. At the end of the day, the goal of your LinkedIn is not to replace your resume. It's to provide an overview that makes somebody interested in wanting to see your resume and ask you for your resume. The summary, in my opinion, is an opportunity for you to provide a brief overview of your education, of your experience, and what you're looking for next. So as a student, you might say something like this: "I'm a final year computer science major, passionate about building scalable and efficient web applications. I have a strong foundation in both front-end and back-end technologies, and I'm excited to leverage my skills in a dynamic and innovative environment." And underneath that, you could list your objective. What you could say is, "As I approach the completion of my degree, I'm seeking opportunities to apply my skills in full stack development. I'm particularly interested in roles that allow me to contribute meaningful projects while continuing to grow and learn in a collaborative environment. And then right underneath, what you could do is add a call to action, such as let's connect, and then you can place your email there as well. If you're not the best writer, that's totally fine. I know for me, writing is something that I really struggle with, so I'd recommend using tools like ChatGPT to get an initial foundation of your summary, and from there you can tweak it and personalize it based on what you want. The next section that I want to focus on is work experience. As a student, you might be thinking, I've only had part-time jobs or I've only had internships. That's totally fine. You want to list everything that you've done, whether that's full-time, whether that's part-time, or whether that's internships. Nobody is expecting you to have 20 years of experience for an entry-level job. And for each role that you have, if you do have links or images of the work that you completed, it's great to add that under each experience. If you don't, that's completely fine. It's just an added element that recruiters or anybody looking at your profile can look at to see what kind of work you've done and whether or not you'd be a good fit. And this is another thing that's up for debate, but for each experience that you have listed, I would provide a 1 to 2 sentence description of your role, some of the responsibilities that you performed. For me, this section is not an opportunity to regurgitate everything that's on your resume. That's why you have a resume. This is just an opportunity for you to provide a high-level overview of what were some of the tasks you performed, what were the outcomes you achieved that make somebody want to ask you for your resume. Next, I want to move on to another section that people might overlook, but it's something that employers do find valuable, especially when you're a student, is the volunteer section. Here's an opportunity for you to list some of the committees that you were on, some of the initiatives that you led, anything really in a non-paid capacity that you feel will help bolster your profile. And if you can relate that to the experience that you're looking to get and the job that you're looking to apply to, that's even better. But don't overlook the volunteer section. The skills that you learn throughout your time volunteering are valuable, so make sure that you're emphasizing and you're bringing those to the forefront. There's a few other sections on LinkedIn that you can work on filling out, but I think one key one that I do want to call out is the recommendations section. This is where you can ask people who you've worked with, whether that's teachers, TAs, any employer that you've had, to write something about you so that any recruiter or HR individual or anybody looking at your profile can see some social proof, and that'll help encourage them to think, oh, maybe this is somebody that I do want on my team. It's the same way I look at it as, say you're buying something on Amazon, one of the factors you're probably looking at is the reviews, because you want to know how that product actually is from real people. It's the same thing with recommendations on LinkedIn. It's social proof that helps to build your case as to why you're the best candidate for a specific role. That does wrap up this video. If you have any suggestions on what could be improved or topics for the next one, feel free to let us know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching.